Hi everyone, this is Rosie, and today we're going to make a very cute little triangle pouch, also known as a pyramid pouch. So let's get started. First, let's talk about what you need to make the bag. This is a great project if you have a lot of scraps hanging around from previous projects. And also, I just want to point out that there's a little zipper pull at the end of my bag here, and this was made from fabric by my son David on his button machine. So if you stay tuned to the end of the video, he's going to show you how he made that. Now for the exterior of the bag, you need 2 pieces of fabric. They're both 6 inches square. So it's a 6-inch square of fabric. And in addition to that, you'll need a piece of woven interfacing and a piece of fusible fleece. Okay, so you'll have 2 of each of those. The fabric, the woven interfacing, and the fleece. Then for the lining, you also need 2 pieces of fabric, and also they're 6 inches square, and you just need a piece of woven interfacing for the lining. And then you'll need a zipper. The zipper needs to be at least 7 inches long. I like to work with a longer zipper than that, and I just cut off the excess. Then you need a little D-ring. This is a 3/4 inch D-ring, and we're going to put that on the end of a little tab here, so if you want to hang keys or if you want to hang this from a backpack or whatever, the D-ring will allow you to do that. And then you need a piece of fabric that is 3 inches wide by about 4 inches long, which is longer than we need, but I like to work with it a little bit longer and then cut off the excess. And that is for this tab that holds the D-ring. So now I've already fused my pieces together, and I have a set of pieces here that have all been fused. Okay, so my exterior pieces have been fused with both the woven interfacing first and then the fleece on top of the woven interfacing. And for the lining pieces, I fused the woven interfacing to the wrong side of my lining pieces. Now the first thing that we're going to do is prepare our zipper to sew onto the exterior pieces. If you're working with a piece of directional fabric like I am here, you want your zipper to run along this side, so up and down. Okay, you don't want to put the zipper over this way. If you do, then your images will be sideways. They'll be laying on their sides. So if you want your directional print to be up and down, the zipper will get sewn down this way. Okay? Now, to prepare my zipper, what I like to do is take a marker. I'll do this with a chalk wheel so you'll be able to see my line. And anywhere on the zipper, I'm just going to chalk a white line. Okay? And there's my white line right there. All right? Then I want to open the zipper up. Okay? And right where the white line is, I'm going to fold back on that white line. Okay? And then after I fold it back, I want to make it go at a 45-degree angle to the zipper teeth. Just like that. So right there where the fold is, that's where my white line is. I want that to be parallel with my zipper teeth. And then I'm going to take a pin just to hold this in place. And from this side here, I'm going to place the pin in diagonally. Just like that, to hold that fold in place. Okay? Then, on this side, I'm going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to fold back on that white chalk line, and then I'm going to bring this over to the zipper teeth at a 45-degree angle. Okay? Just like that. And then I'm going to take another pin, and I'm going to put that in to the zipper tape diagonally, just to hold the fold in place. Okay, so now you have your 2 zippers folded just the way I showed you, and that will become your zipper stop. Okay, and you can see these edges here are even, so the zipper teeth are even across this way, and that's what you want. Then the next thing you're going to do is take one of your exterior pieces, and we want to measure down 1/2 of an inch from the top. So I'm going to mark 1/2 of an inch down from the top. Now I'm using a friction pen here, and the only reason why I'm using a friction pen is because it's easy to see on the camera. I do not recommend using a friction pen anywhere other than in the seam line areas or some place where it's never going to be seen, because even though these marks go away with heat, they do come back with cold, and there is a good chance that your marks will show up on your project again sometime. Now we're going to take the zipper and we're going to place it right side down, and right side down for the zipper is the side with the zipper pull. This is the right side of your zipper. So you want to place it right sides down onto one of your pieces, and you want the edge of the zipper to be right at that line there. And then you're going to either clip this in place or pin it in place right along the edge. And we're going to go over to the sewing machine and sew down this side of the zipper. So here's my front exterior, and here is the black line that I marked 1/2 inch down from the top of the exterior piece. So I'm going to take my zipper and I'm going to line up those zipper teeth right with that line right there. Okay? I could put a little clip in there. You could use pins, whatever you like, whatever works best for you. And then I'll just put in a couple of clips down the length just to hold the zipper in place. Now I am using a zipper foot here, and what I'd like to do is first just manually drop down my needle, and I'm dropping it right in where that fold is. Okay, and then I have my stitch length set between 2.5 and 3. I'm going to take a couple of stitches forward, and then I want to take a few stitches back. You want to be careful of your pin that's in there. You really should not sew over pins. Okay, now I'm just going to sew down the length of the zipper. When I get to the zipper pull, I lift my foot up and I'm pulling the zipper pull up past that foot so that I can sew down the rest of this length here. Make sure the edge of the zipper tape is staying even with the edge of your front exterior here. When you get to the end, just backstitch. Okay, and there is the zipper all sewn into place. So now I'm going to sew the second exterior piece to the other side of the zipper. Okay, and this time we'll be sewing from the bottom up. I have my exterior side right here, okay, and I'm going to put the right side of the exterior to the right side of the zipper. I want to make sure that my bottom edges are even. So I have the bottom edges even here. I'm going to put in a clip. I'll put a couple of clips in along the length. You want to make sure that these top edges are also even, okay? And just like we did before, when we get near the zipper pull, we'll push that out of the way. So again, I put my piece under my foot here. You always want to sew from the zipper tape side of the project. Take a few stitches back. Okay, make sure that the edge of your zipper tape is even with the edge of your project. Now that I'm close to the zipper pull, I'm going to get that out of the way there. Okay, and then we can finish sewing this down. You want to make sure that those zipper teeth are right in line with the mark that we drew 1/2 inch down from the top. So here's the mark, and you want your zipper teeth to be right at that mark. Okay, I'm going to take that pin out. Okay, so we have both exteriors panels sewn into place, and that's what it looks like right now. Now our next step will be to sew on the lining pieces. So I'm going to fold this back right here, and my lining is going to go on this side of the zipper right here. So I'm going to place that under. Okay, so here's my panel right there on one side, and here's the zipper tape sewn in on top of that panel. And now I'm just going to clip this lining piece to the other side of the zipper tape. And again, you want to make sure that your lining and your exterior are even with each other. So it would be this panel here. Okay, they need to be even. All right, and then you'll clip up the length, and now when we sew this down, we're going to sew it from the other side. I'm going to open the zipper a little bit to get started. Okay, you want to make sure that the panel on the bottom is out of the way. You don't want to sew through that panel. We want to make sure that the top edges are even. So I'm going to put one more clip in here, and you want to sew over the previous stitching, but this time we're going to start from the very top. Before, we just started and stopped right where the fold of the zipper is there. Okay, so forward and backwards. And I can feel underneath my fabric, my zipper pull is right here, so I want to get that out of the way. So I'm just reaching under and pulling the zipper pull past my presser foot. And now I can finish sewing down the length here. Just make sure that you stay on that previous line of stitching. Right now what we have is the zipper with the exterior and the lining sewn to this side of the zipper. Now what we need to do is sew the other lining piece to this side. So you have your lining, you have your exterior piece right here sewn to the zipper. You're going to close that just like that and flip it over. And now we need to sew the other piece of lining to this side of the zipper tape. So you just take your lining and clip them together just like we've been doing. Always make sure that your edges are all even. Okay, you see I have the edge of the exterior to the edge of the lining right there. We'll put in a few clips. And then just like we did before, we're going to sew over the previous line of stitching. Okay? Always make sure that all of your edges are even. Okay, my zipper pull is right here and I need to get it out of the way. So I just lift that presser foot again and pull that zipper pull down. Okay? And then I can sew all the way to the end again. Now we're going to go past where we stopped before all the way to the end. And backstitch. So now when I take this out, what you should have is on this side you have the exterior sewn to the lining with the zipper in between, and on this side you have your exterior and your lining both sewn with the zipper in between. Okay? Now that we have the exterior and the lining all sewn together, we want to run a line of top stitching right along this edge, 1/8 of an inch away from the edge. Okay, so I've switched out my presser foot. Now I have on my regular presser foot. Everything has been all ironed down. Okay, so I'm going to place this under my presser foot. Now the distance between my needle and the middle of this toe right here is approximately 1/8 of an inch. So I'm using a stitch length of 3.0 and I back stitch. I'm going to open up that zipper pull to help me get in as close as I need to be here. And you want to stop your stitching right where those zipper teeth are. You don't want to do the top stitching all the way to the edge. You're going to stop right here. And back stitch. And then you'll do the same exact thing to the other side of the zipper. And again, you're stopping where the zipper teeth are. And now that you have that done, you want to take the piece that you cut out for your zipper tab. Okay, that's the piece that was 3 inches wide by 4 inches long. And the first thing that you're going to do is fold it in half and give it a good press. All right? Then you'll open it up just like this, and you'll fold both long edges into that middle where you pressed it, okay, where you pressed it in half. So both long edges get folded into the middle, and then you're going to press that. And then once you're done pressing, you'll fold the whole piece in half just like this, okay? And it should be 3/4 of an inch wide now. Then you're going to take it and you're going to top that 1/8 of, you're going to top stitch that 1/8 of an inch from the edge along both long edges. And again, I'm sewing with a stitch length of 3.0. I haven't changed it. Back stitch. Okay. Then you're going to take the D-ring right there and you're going to slide that onto the end. And you'll bring the two raw edges together just like that. Then you're going to take this piece right here and you're going to open it up, okay? So you want to move the lining out of the way. And here's the piece right here. And you're going to take this tab with the D-ring and you're going to sew it in place. Now I just go a little bit away from the zipper I don't have any measurements here. I just kind of eyeball it. I don't want it to be right up against the zipper. I want to have a little bit of space, and it's maybe 3/4 of an inch down from the top. Okay, it doesn't have to be very long. And you're going to just baste this in the place right now. Just make sure that there's nothing underneath there that could get caught. Make sure the lining is out of the way and the zipper's out of the way, and then just baste it in place. And now you can take your scissors and you can trim this tab with the top of the exterior. Okay. And then you can also trim down these zipper pieces that are sticking out on both sides. Okay, and then next, we're going to take this piece and we're going to put the two exterior ends together. So you'll just take them and put them together just like this. Make sure that your lining is not stuck in between there anywhere. So I have this exterior piece and this exterior piece. I'm just going to clip them together. And I'm going to sew with approximately a 1/2 inch seam allowance along this edge right here. Okay, so I'm going to put it in the machine. Make sure all your edges are together. Still sewing with a 3.0 stitch length. And then you'll do the same thing on this side. You're going to clip the two pieces of lining together. And you're going to sew this also with a 1/2 inch seam length, seam width. Alright, now you want to go over to your iron again and you want to press these seams open. You want to press both the lining seam open and you want to press the exterior side seam open. Okay? So let's take a look at what we have here. On this piece we have the zipper pull right here at the top. Okay? And the end of the zipper is coming off of this end right here. We have the exterior on this side and the lining on this side. Now what we want to do is take both the exterior and the lining and pull them together this way, okay? And the zipper will be hanging off right here. This is the end of the zipper right here. So we're going to pull these together just like this. And then you want to take this seam right here and you want to line it up with the center of the zipper teeth, just like that. And then you're going to take the lining side and this seam right here, you want to line it up with the zipper teeth on the back side of the zipper. Okay? Now if you want, you could clip this off right now, this edge. That's totally up to you. And then these folded edges, the folded edge of the lining and the folded edge of the exterior should be meeting at the end there. You're going to put in some clips, okay, just like this. And the same thing on this side. This folded edge right here of the exterior should be meeting up with the folded edge of the lining side. You're going to put in a couple of clips. and then we're going to go over to the sewing machine and we're going to sew straight across with a 1/2 inch seam. So I have the piece in the machine and I'm going to sew my 1/2 inch seam now. And you want to start forward, reverse, and I'm using a stitch length of 3.0 and I'm sewing a 1/2 inch seam. Now, when you get to where the zipper is, you can sew over that a couple of times. Okay, so that's what you should have right now. And you can take your scissors and snip off the corners here. You just want to make sure that you don't snip through your stitching line, okay? Now I just pressed this side of the seam open here. It's the seam allowance that's opposite the zipper. Okay, just press that open. And now you can actually trim back this zipper if you want to. Okay, and this is what you should have. This is what it should look like right now. And what we want to do is turn it this way. And now we're going to stretch it out in this direction here. And right here, where you have that seam allowance, this seam allowance was not top stitched down when we sewed in the zipper. You want to open that up on both sides. Okay. And then you're going to clip those seams together. So just open them up. Oh, open up your zipper. That's really important. If you don't, you're going to be crying later. So just open up the seam allowance on both sides and clip them together. Right on that seam allowance. You could also put a pin in there to secure it down a little better. And now you're going to clip along here. This is the 2 exterior panels. You're going to clip those together. And then, same thing, you're going to pull the 2 lining pieces together and you're going to clip them. But you're not going to sew all the way to the end. So what we're going to do is we're going to start at this end. We're going to sew along here. When you get to where that seam is, you're going to drop your needle down and pivot a little bit, and then you're going to sew this way. But you're only going to sew right up to about where that red clip is, and this part here will be left open, and this is where we will turn everything in a few minutes. Now, if I haven't mentioned it already, there will be no raw edges on the inside of your triangle pouch, okay? Because we're going to turn it inside out, and then we're going to close up this seam, and you will not see any raw edges on the inside. So let's go over to the machine and sew this down now. So I'm going to start sewing this down, and I want to drop my needle right down where that previous line of stitching is. So right here, I'm going to drop it right in here, and I'm going to only be going about 1/4 of an inch down from the top. So drop it right in that spot right there, and we'll start taking a few stitches forward, a few stitches back. You don't want to sew past the seam line here, okay? So the seam width is only going to be around 1/4 of an inch wide, maybe slightly more. And I'm sewing with a stitch length of 3.0. It seems like you're sewing around a curve here, but it's really not curved. It's really a straight line. Just appears to be a curve because of the way the project is laid out. Here's the tab. You can sew over that a couple of times if you want to make it a little bit stronger there. Okay, and now here is that seam. Okay, this is where the lining is sewed to the exterior. When we get right to the middle of the seam, we're going to drop the needle down. Okay, now we're going to pivot. Alright, And then we'll sew to where the red clip is. And you can backstitch. So here we are with the seam sewn. And now, right here, I just want to clip off this corner. Okay. Just don't cut through your stitching lines. And now we're going to turn the project right side out. So you're just going to reach in here and start pushing. You'll push the exterior through that hole and the lining through that hole. It will not be too difficult to turn. Now, I just want to show you right here where we left that opening. You have two choices. You can either stitch this down by machine. You'll just take this lining, you'll fold it under that 1/4 of an inch or so. Okay, and then you can either go over to the machine and sew that down, or you can hand stitch it. I personally like to hand stitch it, but don't do any stitching yet to close this up until we've poked out all of our corners with the exterior. Okay, so once I have everything almost turned all the way through, I reach in through that hole in the lining and I want to poke out all of my corners. First I poke them out with my finger, okay, just like that, and then you need to take some other tool, either a point turner or something else. You're going to reach through that hole in the lining there. I have this tool called the purple fang, and I'm just going to push out my corner. Okay, just want to make sure that you don't poke through any seams here. Alright, and there should be 3 corners to poke out. Here's the second one. Okay, it's opposite, it's the corner opposite the zipper. And again, you'll poke that corner out. And then there's one on the other side of the zipper. So I'm going to poke that out with my finger. Alright, just like that. And then I will poke it with my purple thing. Now, like I said, the lining will get closed up, and then once it's all closed up, you're going to reach inside your pouch. You're just going to smooth the lining down in there. Okay, just press it in. Make sure that the corners of the lining are pressed up against the corners of the exterior, and then you'll basically be done. I do like to give it a little bit of a pressing, and the way I like to do it is I just kind of fold it like this, okay, and then I'll press this side, then I press this side, then I press this side, and then I press this side. Okay, so that's pretty much your pouch right there, and all I need to do now is sew up that opening in the lining, and I need to put on the button pull. So this is the little button that my son made, and remember to stay tuned because he is going to show you how he made this. And you're just going to take it and clip it right in the little hole on the end of your zipper, just like that. Okay, so I'll sew up my lining and I'll give this a nice little pressing, and we're done. I hope that you've enjoyed watching this video as much as I've enjoyed preparing it for you. Please like and subscribe.
Okay, hi everybody. Today I'm going to show you how to make a fabric button on this nifty little button press. So here's what the button looks like, and these are what we're going to be used to make it. Here's your button top. Here's your piece of copy paper, which is supposed to hide the silveriness from the button when the fabric stretches and it's pressed. Here's the fabric design. Here's the little ring that goes on the bottom. Here's the VersaBack plastic thing that goes on the back of the button, and here's the hook that the button hangs from. This is your button press. This base swivels, and there's two different wells. There's a shallow one and a deeper one, and I'll show you how to use that in a second. And here's your button cutter. It cuts circular holes to make into buttons. You're also going to need a strip of copy paper as well. So, oh yeah, you just have to put the paper in the button press and punch down. You get a circular piece of paper. Of course, I already have one right here, so let me show you how to make a button. And by the way, this machine is made by an American company called Tekra. And so is the button press. They also supply the little. Anyway, you have to put the button cap into the shallower well. Okay, then you put your the piece of paper here, and then where's the, oh, I almost forgot. On top of the button, you have to put these little mylars on the top to protect it. So once you got your button cap, your copy paper, and your fabric in here, you have to line it up, and then put your little mylar on top of that. Then you swivel it around. You take the lever and you plunge down. Now the button, you'll see the button's gone. It's actually inside this part here. It's inside there. And then, whoopsie. You see, you're gonna have to take the flat part of this little ring and put it on put it bottom side down inside the other well. Then you flip it around. You plunge again, and then it's all pressed like that. Then what you're gonna do next is you're gonna take your VersaBack. You're gonna line it up and press it so that it stays on. Then lastly, what you're going to do, take the little hook, you squeeze it so that you can get it open. Then you slide it onto the button. And then lastly, what you're going to do is going to take the same hook and the zipper on your pouch. Okay, here's your little hole right here. And you're going to squeeze on the hook and slide it on. There you go. There's your triangular pouch with your dog button on it. Thanks for watching.